All right, y'all. D-Lo for boxing. I want to talk about Shawn Porter and his status as a quote-unquote elite fighter in the sport of boxing. You know, I feel like elite is one of those words that gets thrown around far too much in the sport of boxing. You know, there are a lot of really good fighters out there. There are some marginal, I put it like this, there are some borderline great fighters out there, you know, from very good to great. But the reality is that all of these guys can't be elite. Sometimes I think we see things that we like in a fighter. We see them moving a certain way, conducting themselves a certain way, taking the challenges we want them to take, winning, and we attach the term elite to them, or that tag that they may or may not be deserving of, depending on, you know, the landscape of the division at that time, or the landscape of the sport at the time. With Shawn Porter, you know, we have a guy who, you know, has beat some really good boxers, but he's also lost to the very top guys that he fought in his division. Shawn is a guy that came from, when he debuted at super middleweight. He worked his way down to welterweight, which took a lot of dedication, hard work, and determination, and he became very good. You know, Shawn eventually became a champion, beating Devin Alexander and taking his IBF title. And Shawn had a successful defense versus Paulie Malignaggi, who also went on to become a welterweight champion later. I think he became a champion after Porter beat. I could be wrong about that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. Became champion after Porter beat. But in Porter's very next fight after that, he lost the IBF title. Okay, Shawn Porter worked his way back up to another title shot, and this time it was versus Keith Thurman for the WBA title, and he came up short, losing that fight to Keith Thurman. No shame in that. Keith Thurman was considered one of the top welterweights at the time in the division. You know, by many he was considered, you know, the best, right below. He was the best of the younger crop of welterweights. You know, below Manny Pacquiao and below Floyd Mayweather at the time. Okay. But with that being said, Porter didn't stop there. He continued to work hard, got himself in position once again. And once Keith Thurman, who at this time had to become, Keith had become unified champion. He was WBC and WBA champion, but he had gotten stripped for inactivity, and Shawn Porter fought for the vacant WBC title, beating Danny Garcia, who was a former WBC champion. And at that point, you know, he went on to defend the title versus Dennis Ugas, and in a fight that was very close, could have gone either way. I personally saw the fight in favor of Ugas by, you know, like a margin of 8-4 with a knockdown, but the judges didn't see it that way. So Shawn Porter in his very next fight fought a unification bout versus Errol Spence Jr., and in that bout, Shawn Porter lost his title. So in two, Shawn Porter has had 4 different opportunities to win a title. Not win a title, but after he's had 2 runs as champion, and he's had 2 unsuccessful bids to gain a title. He came up short trying to win the title versus Thurman for the WBA title, and he came up short trying to reclaim the IBF title versus Errol Spence Jr. in unification bout. And with that being said, in his title run, two opportunities, 2 stints as champion, once for the IBF and once for the WBC, Shawn Porter only had 1 successful title defense in both of his title reigns. So to me, when I factor all of that in, and the fact that when he fought the very best guys in the division, he came up short, that doesn't translate to elite in my book. So for me, I have to say that Shawn Porter is a really good fighter in the welterweight division, has been, but at no point has Shawn Porter proven himself to be an elite welterweight. Does that mean that Shawn Porter is undeserving of a fight versus the very, very best? I don't think so. I'd like to see Shawn Porter mixed up with any of these guys. But for Shawn Porter to live up to the term elite that so many people like to put on him, I think Shawn Porter has work to do. And I'm not sure at this stage of his career he can get that work done. D-Lo 404 Boxing, all I got to say on the subject. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.